Dear friends, you've already met our last speaker on this stage today. She has over 20 years of experience in satellite communications, and she has worked on projects that really make space technology serve people's safety and security here on Earth. I'm pleased to welcome here on the stage, once again, Laurence Duquerroy.
Yes. Good afternoon. Yes, I have my presentation. So good afternoon. So I wanted to spend a bit of time with you to present also the program I'm involved in, which is the Space System for Safety and Security program, which is part of the ARTES program line, which is dedicated to telecommunication, in particular to develop technology solutions that industry can bring to market. So it's really focused on commercialization in the end. So just to recall a little bit, so as we have mentioned earlier, satellite connectivity is now a core pillar of a digital infrastructure. It's not a backup anymore, so it's a key and strategic component of a digital infrastructure. And more we see that it is important to ensure that the design, manufacturing, but also the operations are managed overall by European actors in order to ensure sovereignty. And indeed, as we mentioned before, SATCOM system is entering this new threat landscape, new challenges, new potential attackers and malicious actors, which can damage, indeed, satellite communication system and disrupt society in general. So the program line I want to talk to you is about, it's called 4S, for Space System for Safety and Security. It was created in 2019 by the member states, and the objective was to try to answer to all the challenges I mentioned before. So basically what we do in 4S is, first of all, we are discussing with public bodies, institutions, to understand what would be their needs in terms of satellite communications, and help them to indeed implement their strategy. So for instance, we are a bit at we have been at the incubation of IRIS². We are also currently working with Eurocontrol, also on air traffic management, or with the European Maritime Safety Agency for maritime surveillance, maritime connectivity for safety services. But we are also an industry partner. We want to support industry to come up with the right solutions, the right technologies to address this safety and security market. So we are helping industry in this. And we cover a little bit all these domains, so that goes from transportation safety to critical operations, critical infrastructure operations, cyber security, digital infrastructure protection, but also all the governmental services, which can go to law enforcement, emergency services, maritime surveillance. And now maybe you know that at the end of November, we have a big event on our side, which is the Council at ministerial level, where basically the member states will decide what ESA will implement over the next 3 years. And in 4S, indeed, we have renewed what we wanted to work on, what is the strategy we would like to do for the next year. So it will go from preparing the future with a new concept we would like to bring forward. We are not talking anymore about security by design, but resilience by design. So looking at new ways to indeed ensure resilience of satellite communication system, how to make sure that whatever the attacks, whatever the disruption in a satellite system, you can carry on to provide the critical services somehow. So through agility, flexibility, sufficient redundancy, maybe using other satellite systems around, which could be used as a backup. So for instance, if you have a multi-orbit systems, if one orbit is disturbed, can you use the other orbit to send your critical traffic? So it's the first point. Then it's about technology development. So here we carry on with what we want to do, but we want to expand. So to pursue indeed the development of security technology, cyber security technology with industry, and indeed to increase the portfolio of solutions. Then the development of new infrastructure in the domain of maritime and aviation, for traffic management in general, for traffic safety. So here we are partnering with public organizations who have some needs. So I was talking about Eurocontrol on aviation, but also with EMSA, on the maritime side. And of course, we are partnering with also with a private consortium we can provide, which can deliver these services. Because on this, it will be likely private operators who will deliver air traffic management solutions and air traffic surveillance solutions. And then one more application domain, which is really recent, is about, it's called Clean Waves. It's about spectrum management. And yeah, the idea here is to initiate new activities which would allow to protect satellite communication infrastructure from interference and to indeed monitor the spectrum and guarantee the access to the spectrum. So it's what we are now proposing to the member state for the next ministerial. And indeed, since this conference is really focused on software and security, I wanted to come back on the resilience and security part of what we are doing. So what we are trying to do is to support, indeed, industry to develop the next security technologies and solutions which are needed to address, indeed, the next let's say, the threat landscapes, which is evolving, but also the new vulnerabilities coming from the evolution of the satellite communication systems. Then we think, indeed, it's really a business value with security. So we want to, indeed, to foster this as a business value for industry and foster commercialization of security technologies. And finally, is what I think was said earlier this morning, there is the need to grow this ecosystem in Europe to support its development, and so it will be very good to provide the space actors with tools, resources, opportunities to gain knowledge on this domain and to develop really secure SATCOM products with less vulnerabilities as possible. So we have this a bit complex roadmap here, which the objective is really to ensure secure and resilient satellite communication systems. On one side is really looking at industry, supporting industry, grow the ecosystems. We have a number of activities working on this. It's typically try to develop, indeed, blueprints, self-assessment tools. So we have companies working on this. It's about facilities. It's about also trying to incubate new technologies. So we have this, what we call the maker space, where indeed companies can make very small activity for a very small amount of money, and to do also in-orbit demonstration. And on the other side is more technology, so to try to develop, indeed, the products that industry will need to secure their system. So that goes towards generic, indeed, development related to post-quantum, public infrastructure, PKI, anti-jamming techniques, and so on, but also looking at specific SATCOM systems. So, for instance, for 5G, NTN, so non-terrestrial networks, there will be new vulnerabilities, so we need to look at new countermeasures. It's a bit the same with aero, where we have dedicated SATCOM systems. What could be the threats? Also in the maritime domain, for instance, there is an evolution of AIS, for those who know, which is called VHF data exchange system. So new connectivity based on narrowband, but that implies also new vulnerabilities to be tackled. So I wanted to give you a few examples of what we do with industry to illustrate a little bit and make it more concrete. Today we have more or less 40 activities dealing with security, technology, cyber, or let's say jamming, interference, and so on. This one, first of all, that Massimo mentioned just before. So it's the Estonian Space Cyber Range Initiative, which was kicked off in February 2025. Which is indeed aimed at providing European industry with services for indeed improving the cybersecurity expertise, knowledge, and so on. So that goes from validation and testing of space solution and technologies, but also performing cybersecurity exercise and indeed specialized training. So we are very happy to support this activity in the Forest program line. Another example I wanted to give, which is more recent, which is also recent, sorry. It's with a Polish consortium where indeed they are working on the development of a SATCOM security solution with post-quantum algorithm. So it's Arobs Polska and Westquant. So it's It's them who came with this idea to work on this. They have their business strategy, and indeed we are helping them. We are co-funding the activity to develop a new product. Another example also is Stelios. It's something that we are launching on ESA side. It's an in-orbit secure telecom lab. So basically the idea is to have an in-orbit CubeSat, which would allow to indeed test, evaluate in real space conditions some new technologies related to security. So that can be from crypto mechanisms, new network protocols, routing techniques, etc. The idea is indeed that it would be open to experimenters outside of a consortium to make some tests. So it's something that we are preparing right now. We plan to issue in November, so next month. I cannot say much more than that because unfortunately we have started now the preparation of the ITT package, so it would be a competitive tender, but something on which we are working and which indeed is based indeed on discussion with industry, which have confirmed that indeed it will be very useful to have this kind of in-orbit lab to test new services and to go then to be able then to bring them to market. So I wanted to come back also on the way we work, because it's not always very easy from outside to understand the way ESA is working. So basically, we have two ways of working and two ways to start a project and activities. We have an annual work plan. So it's, let's say, every year we issue a work plan of activities. So it's ESA initiated, and so we are launching ITTs on a number of domains. They're most of the time addressing innovative concepts or technologies at low TRL, and we want to help industry to progress in the TRL level. Here I put indeed some example of what we are addressing for 2025 and 2026 related to security. So for instance, we will have ITTs related to high-speed secure module for high-speed inter-satellite data link. So to be able to encrypt indeed ISL links. Things about 5G end-to-end security, looking specifically at the SIM for governmental applications. How to secure even more onboard access control router in satellite communications. How to use AI on board satellite in order for the satellite to detect potential attacks and mitigate them. And then we have also activities in the maritime domain, so to be able to detect, for instance, fake AIS messages. So basically, each vessel sends this position regularly, but sometimes there's some spoofing, or a vessel put a false location. So maybe from the satellite, we can already detect that the AIS message has been spoofed. And also, indeed, to look at VHF data exchange system, how to indeed secure these kind of systems. And of course, we have Stelios. So this is a work plan. That we have a work plan every year with new ITTs, and we are issuing the ITTs all along the year. It's basically fully funded, which is quite interesting. And the way we work is that we are, in a nutshell, so we are issuing an invitation to tender with a statement of work, defining the task and what we want to achieve at the end. And companies can submit their proposal, which are evaluated, and the best proposals are then implemented and contract signed. Then the second way to work with us is when you have your own idea. You want to develop a product or increase the TRL of technical solutions because it's your business strategy. We can support you as well. So here, we call them industry-initiated activities, and we have an open call for this. So basically, it's really the objective is to support the actors in the development and the marketing of these new technologies. So it's based on your own roadmap and your business perspective. It can be for everything, ground segment, space segment, user segment, or a system development that you would like to do. And you can enter the program at any time at TRL level, let's say. And it's a non-competitive process. So each, let's say, proposal is treated separately, independently, in a confidential way. And indeed, if the quality of the proposal is good, then we indeed carry on with the company. And about the funding level, so it's usually up to 75%. It can be up to 80% for SMEs in proportion of the development risk. So here a little bit about the process for this bidding. So basically you start with an outline proposal where you explain what you want to do at business level, technology level, who you are, and what is the price and cost of the activity you envisaged. And then when we iterate on the outline proposal, and as soon as we think it's indeed mature, we invite you to submit a full proposal. From this, indeed, the full proposal, if you have also your support from your national delegation, then we can evaluate it, and there is a round of clarification, negotiation, and then we can start the project. And in a nutshell, what is an outline and full proposal? So in the outline proposal, it's quite a short document where you give an overview of the company, of the planning, of the deliverables, what is the product and what you want to do in the product, and also your business plan, because this is something very important for us. We want to see the market opportunity behind, so we want to have the evidence of potential interest from customers, basically. And then you have the full proposal, which is, as you can see here, a number of documents which needs to be delivered, which will define really the content of the project. So to finalize my presentation and conclude, so yeah, as I said before, indeed we are in a world, unfortunately, where threats will carry on and will pursue there will be new threats in the future. So it's important to carry on to develop the right solution, addressing security, resilience, protection of the SATCOM systems. So we are really committed for the next years, indeed, to support industry, but also European institutions and member states to develop, indeed, the response to all this. So to grow technology and solutions for this, to develop this resilience by design concept, and indeed to expand also the security testing, verification, training facilities, which will help to develop the ecosystem. And in particular with this in-orbit lab that we would like to launch soon, and maybe to have an extension, it's what we call Stelios Plus, where we could have several satellites in order to be able to make an even more complex demonstration of technology. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We at least have one question from the audience. Again, a question I can truly relate to and appreciate. If you would be a satellite connectivity technology, then which would you be?
Technology.
Satellite connectivity technology.
Okay.
Which satellite connectivity technology would you want to be in your next life? Or well, today
maybe
actually.
a camera on the satellite to see who are the satellites going around to listen to me. That would be interesting.
Okay.
Because this is happening. This is really happening.
Any other questions that either the moderator or our dear speaker can relate to?
Yes, actually, UK is part of ESA and is part of this program line. So indeed, we have activities with UK. Yeah, yeah.
Brexit didn't affect everything.
No,
luckily.
no, because ESA is in Vienna an intergovernmental organization, not a EU organization. No.
Any more questions? We have. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a good question indeed. It's something that we would like to push, actually. It's the hardening of current solutions and systems, which we think would be useful. It's not possible to do it, I think, for everything, because there is a kind of agility needed in the system already. But it's a proposal that we have made also to industry to maybe use ESA and ESA framework to do this kind of developments. Yeah. So we would be open. It's one of in the, let's say, the slide with the ecosystem. It's one of the things we would like to support. Yeah. But it's to industry in this case to come to us with a specific need.
Don't be shy. If you have a question, it's possible to ask it. Go ahead.
Actually, I have a question related to resiliency by design.
Yeah.
And might be a little bit detailed, but I wonder if you are using the NIST way to how to identify your objectives and stuff like this, or there would be another way, European way that time, because currently, for my knowledge, there is no.
Yeah. So actually, what we have started to do on this domain is concept studies that we are planning to launch, hopefully in Q1 next year. So it's really, I think the idea is really to start from the beginning and look whether we need to go beyond what NIST has made or to reshuffle. So it's a big question mark, but it's maybe something which we are going to challenge. Yeah, and indeed we want to look at all the different threats. So maybe NIST is not looking at all the potential threats. So to make an update, yeah. But I guess we will strongly rely on the baseline which is existing today. So it's very exploratory, this resilience by design concept at the moment, but it's something, we see some resonance in industry, so we are looking forward to see what will come out from these concept studies. Thank you.
Anyone else? Again, if I don't see you, just stand up and give me a wave. Well, if not, we're going to continue the conversation in a more, less formal way. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.